Hello from Germany. No, I'm still in Hawaii, but Solar Gourmet is up in Germany. How's it? What's up, Printer Bear? Good day to all. Hope everyone is having a good day. It is September 17th, 2023. Yeah, welcome to Korean Natural Farming Office Hours. Taking Master Cho's knowledge with the Purificana Foundation's help and bringing it to you around the world. Hope you enjoy being a better person, being a part of the solution. I was thinking this morning, like, I'm not that hopeful, but you ever seen the Lord of the Rings after Gandalf, he dies. Well, he doesn't die, but the Balrog takes him down to the pits of hell, and then all the hobbits come out, and they're all like worried about lunch, and they turn to Strider and they say, "Well, how can we go with no hope?" And he says, "Sometimes you just have to carry on without hope." So anyway, before I get into it, before I dive in, I'll just leave you with that, because sometimes I'm not all that hopeful for things, but I still show up, carry on, and you guys are showing up too. And that's, maybe you do feel hopeful from this, maybe you don't, but carrying on, yeah, it's a good thing. So before I get too much into my own rabbit hole, let's go get some higher wisdom, because that'll probably be like STFU, just like last week. Get the conflict. Let's see here. Oh, well, here you go. And perhaps this is the solution here for all that, where I'm like non-hopeful and stuff. It's the joyous lake. True joy is experienced by those who are strong within and gentle without. The hexagram Tui teaches us how to come into possession of joy. In our search for success and happiness, we are prone to think we must take aggressive actions to achieve them. The instructions of the Ching is just the opposite. Only those who practice innocence, acceptance, detachment inherit true joy in this world. We often see around us how forcible effort brings about what appears to be progress. Our egos tempt us to believe that these gains are lasting and valuable. But the truth is otherwise. Whatever is won by desirous, ambitious, demanding manipulations of the ego will soon be lost. Others can always be temporarily browbeaten into doing things our way. But only hearts won by friendliness and sincere goodwill are true over time. The I Ching teaches us again and again that joy and success cannot be forced or stolen. They're achieved gradually but steadily by those who relate correctly to others and to the higher power. To relate correctly means to steadfastly practice innocence, detachment, acceptance, modesty, and gentleness. Life is full of shortcuts, but this is the only route that leads to true joy. The image of the hexagram is that of two lakes joined together to keep from drying up. It is encouragement to us to join with like-minded friends now in discussion and contemplation of higher things. If we engage in an ongoing conversation about proper principles with our friends, our relationship to truth is steady, and our ego cannot seduce us into doubt, fear, anxiety, and subsequently lead us away from joy. In your heart, be firm to holding to what is good and honest and correct. In your thoughts and actions, be gentle and accepting. Those who persevere on this path will meet with true joy and lasting success. So there you go. That's kind of what I was saying. The I Ching, it's so weird. It's always like, I was talking to Suze about it the other day, and I was just like, it's always on, man. It's always on. It knows, like, because it's kind of the fundamental reality that we live in is somehow directly related to an 8-bit system. 6-bit system, 8-bit system, I don't know. Anyway, 64 hexagrams, and somehow it always picks the right one, even what I was talking about, right? Like, even though there's no hope, you must carry on and continue, and that's what they did in the Lord of the Rings. They kind of got together as a group and continued to persevere on the task, and gently, steadily, they didn't just take a zeppelin and fly to Mordor and just throw the ring in from 30,000 feet. They walked. I mean, imagine the Lord of the Rings with a helicopter or a zeppelin. Why not just fly there, bro? Fast, quick, easy, because it wouldn't bring lasting results or long-term things. And that's how I feel with this KNF, with organizing this. I was thinking about it. I always, I guess why I don't have that much hope is because I always was like wanting to push forward and wanting to do things now and achieve my goals immediately, and when I don't see that progress, I think, oh no, we're doomed. There's no progress. It's not happening. But then again, here, you guys tuning in, we're all here together. We're all in this. And even if you don't see necessary results right away, the long-lasting results that are, achieved peacefully, gently, those things, I guess, it's God's way of like giving me a little bit of hope, lifting me up a little bit to be like, slow and steady getting there. So yeah, Lone Star's wife needs this today. But, I think we all do in a certain sense of it is good. And Creative Soil, did you check out Tyler and Hannah? Those good folks in OKC. They're great. They have a coffee shop, and then, oh man, his garden, I showed it on a couple episodes again. Yeah. Sounds like Creative Soil is also into, what's that guy? Wolfgang? No, what's his name? The guy that does the breathing and sits in the cold tubs. Yeah. Yeah, so, Wim Hof, that's his name. I don't know what I called him before, but, yeah, eating beef. That's why I'm now I'm more than ever cattle. I started off with 2 cows 10 years ago to, almost 20 years ago. I don't know, 2007 till now, almost 20 years. Growing cows, and then now have a herd of about 6 cows. I have 6 cows now. Because beef and milk. It's also really good. So yeah, all those things, man. Learning endurance, checking out different types of meditation, those things. Always good. The simplest, the cheapest is the best. Just sit there with your eyes closed and relax and let God drive for a bit. We're so like, I need to do this. And it's like, I need to ask God for help. It's like, how about you just let God do it for you? What's up, West Africa? We got a whole world here. Senegal, man. Wild. And at one point in my life, I probably would have liked to go there and to do things and try and spread natural farming. Now I just do it digitally through the internet. Way more effective, let me tell you. Cam 2. Okay, we got a question. So I'm going to jump into that, and then I'm going to get into, I filmed my film, talking about solutions, higher things. But that, why not, gives me a chance to talk about KNF support. Because let me just go here. Not that I want to like be like, oh, don't ask questions or whatever. Because definitely ask questions, and I'm glad to go over it again and all this. But since we're here, I'm gonna bring that right like this. Get that just sweet and cherry. And then right here this is knfsupport.com. This is by the Pure KNF Foundation. This is one of the main projects we run. It has the office hours here, right here. But you can also search it here. And let's just put in a thing for IMO 5 and see what that returns us. So I'm just gonna search the office hour videos here real quick. And it always, I know people that tune in all the time are like, man, I already know about this, man. I already know. And for some reason, this one isn't giving a result, but maybe it's just because it's searching for IMO. In fact, I think it is just searching for IMO. That's why it's not giving us any results. The 5 messed it up. So apparently there's more bugs to fix, but let's just search IMO. In fact, we could search IMO 5 one word. But the reason I'm going through this exercise of searching for it is because IMO 5 is a commonly talked about topic on here. So here, this is I just searched IMO 5, no space. Apparently, if you put spaces or you do multiple characters, it's not gonna. Just because the JavaScript that I have to like narrow down the times when it actually returned a result is not working properly for anything with spaces in there. So don't search for multiple keywords because you won't find them. Which I guess I should fix that. It seems a little bit. Maybe it's the exact spaces, and if they're all in a line, maybe it'll work. I don't know. But how does fermented mixed compost differ from IMO 5? And this is a classic one because Master Cho calls like 10 things IMO 5. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but literally he said like you can make it from manure, you can make it from compost, you can make it from all like the animal waste, the stuff that comes out of the pig pen, all those things he calls IMO 5. And it's just like, I don't know if it's the translator or Master Cho, but it gets super confusing. So there is a thing called fermented mixed compost, FMC. And that's if you're just making an IMO 5 by taking a compost pile and blending in 10% IMO 4 into it. So activated microorganisms, the soil and everything, all done through that entirely, that process, very, very precise process to get up to what Master Cho would call IMO 4, what I would call what I would call activated IMOs. And you just make a regular compost pile like you would, browns to greens, the nitrogen to carbon ratio, get it balanced, and then add in 10% IMO 4. That would make a fermented mixed compost for you. And that is an IMO 5. And how does it differ? There's a bunch of different things. And then so, again, IMO 5 equals fermented mixed compost. I was saying that in that episode. So a lot of times I try to get to that and talk about it, but and then here's someone asking, should I apply IMO 5 instead of 4 to enrich the soil, which is another topic to get into, where it's kind of like IMO 4 or adapted IMO, like the activated adapted IMO really brings in the, it's tuned to your soil. So you're building soil workers with IMO 4 or adapted IMO. You're building, they're adapted to your soil. You're going to put soil workers in there versus IMO 5 or a fermented mixed compost is more of an amendment. So you don't use it in the very beginning when you're trying to build your soil and get your soil microbes there. You use it once your plants are growing. And that's be more of an IMO 5 type of, or fermented mixed compost. Because if I use IMO 5, it gets confusing, but fermented mixed compost application. And then, can I make IMO 5 beds 4-inch tall with cardboard underneath? The answer to that was probably, TLDR, yes. TLDL. Too long, didn't listen. And then raw manure for IMO 5, great way to process manure by blending it with, the proper amounts of carbon, the proper amounts of 10% IMO 4, that get that activated IMO in there, make IMO 5. and talked about again fermented mixed compost here and the chicken pen floor. So I encourage you to go to KNF support, watch these episodes, and watch these specific timestamps. So, this one was at 7 minutes 44 seconds. So if I go here, play, go to 7 minutes 44 seconds here. Let's see, can I get it? Yeah, let's see.
In Cho's methodology, those things can be somewhat confusing because he calls fermented mixed compost. So taking, a compost pile and blending an IMO4 to it, IMO5. He also calls the floor of the pig pen IMO5. And he also calls the chicken pen floor IMO5. And there's about, I don't know, like in the translation, it's kind of actually one of the things that gets lost in translation. He calls several things IMO5. So
again, I'm just saying the same things I've always been saying. Master Cho's things, but there's tons of past episodes. So going back, please ask questions here, right? Like now, live in the present. I'm always happy to go back, but also just trying to reference existing material, show you where you can find more resources than just this here in live, but knfsupport.com to go find these older episodes. And I'm trying to make the website better so that it will always return good results for you. But going there, doing this, look at that. There's 5 answers already, probably 15, 20 minutes of information for you. So yeah. And my knowledge on this one, if you're asking for my knowledge on this one, you're saying, what is IMO5? Like I said, IMO5, it's like, it's many things. Oh, here's my Pooch. You see my Pooch? She's trying to play piano. She doesn't have thumbs. So it's many things, but fermented mixed compost is a great amendment. It is amazing especially if you're mixing in manures. You can make. It's great for amending. Like for instance, if you're growing onions, and after the onions, start to sprout up, and then you one way to grow onions is in a little trench. You plant them in a divot. Instead of planting them on a mound, you plant them in a divot. And then as the onions are coming up, then you can amend back and kind of fill in that trench with IMO5. And if you do that 2 or 3 times throughout the growing cycle, it will just power those onions up. So you'll get massive, huge, great, sweet onions. So looks like my Pooch has the fleas, man. I got a soap bath her with sulfur. Get rid of them. Yeah, so you wanted my knowledge on this one. Yeah, that's what it is. I use a lot of the pig pen stuff, making compost teas out of it. It's a great amendment that way. Yeah, so in fact, I was just thinking about that last night. I'm like, oh man, I really should fix my pig pen, because I was thinking I was going to get out of pigs and not do pigs anymore, because the food supply and everything, it's a challenge, man. Pigs are not easy, and I don't really have a good market. I'm not really getting them to breed at the right time. So, but the pig pen floor that they make is so valuable that it's hard to be like, not have my IMO workers constantly out there. Like, that's what my pigs do for me. They make the best IMO on the planet, hands down, better than I could ever make. The pigs are doing it 24/7. They eat the food, they crap, and they pee, and they turn, and they make the world's best IMO 5, which is, again, Master Cho calls the same thing IMO 5. And so my wisdom on it is, is there. So, yeah, and also, one thing, again, also for me, I'm not the world's biggest composter, because I don't like turning big piles. So I typically will in situ compost and just let, a static pile go, type thing. Or turning IMO4 is important, but that's not the same as like turning a huge, like once you got compost, you got all this heavy material. And even with a tractor with a bucket, I'm just not a big turning guy. It's like my back hurts. I got better things to do. You know, so just let nature take care of it in situ. Try and set things up and let them go. Okay, so let's see, solar gourmet here. Our CSA has a problem with soil fleas. Right word in English. I'm not sure. When growing seedlings, especially cabbages, any suggestions? Soil fleas, like soil gnats? I'm not sure. Soil fleas. I'm not sure if that's the right translation. I've never heard of soil fleas. I mean, I've heard of water fleas. They get on you, they bite. It sucks. They call them no-see-ums here. If you go swim in Hilo Bay, just like itch everywhere and you never see anything. It's just water fleas. Let's see. Does anyone else know what he's talking about? Hey, Bird. Thank you. Super chats. Yeah, super chats. Woo. Thanks. Those are always good too. Thank you for being me. Yeah, or just you. Thanks for being you. It's good. Good resources. Good things coming in. Soil gnats and growing seedlings. What would I even do with soil gnats? Erd floor? Flea beetle? Yeah, let me just see what the heck. I don't know if my translation is going to be any better than yours. I'm just going to look at the Wikipedia page. Oh, it looks like a beetle. Yeah, it's a beetle. I just pulled up the wiki. I just put in that word and looked up this, and this is the German thing. Of course, I'll just put it in English here and see what it gives me. But flea beetles. Okay, so it's a soil beetle, like a beetle of some sort. From the leaf beetle. Okay. Okay. Well, number one, okay, so beetles. Beetles are traditionally hard to kill, right? So this is a beetle of some sort. So, and it's an organic gardening club. So they probably. So number one is if a beetle is eating your plant, adding more calcium phosphate. So either the structure or the reproduction. Those two will toughen it up so that the beetle won't want to eat your plant. The structure is like giving it good bones so it can kind of hold itself up. And the reproduction is like comes from the egg shell. So it's, I call it reproduction. Maybe, I always thought about the reproduction. Maybe that's like, it's really used later, but it's really like armor. And maybe that's even a knf armor is a better translation of it. But it helps, like calcium does so many different things, but leads me to believe that if you took water-soluble calcium, the knf reproduction, may as well, while I'm here, just pull that up here. So get this on this side and bring this over like this. So in the book here, the recipe I'm talking about are these two. So the reproduction number 8, this dissolved eggshells, and number 6, the dissolved bones. Both these have calcium. This one has calcium phosphate in it, and it says here, helps to harden a plant from pests and recover from being obese. Okay, so harden a plant from pests is one of the things that calcium phosphate does. And also so does this one, but that didn't make it into the short translation. But basically those are, the one sentence translation, but these recipes do that. I'm going to go down here to, the water-soluble calcium. You're getting it from the eggshells, dissolving them in vinegar, and that eggshell helps to put more armor against the edge of your plant. And so most likely your cabbages for some reason are getting too much like overgrowth like too, maybe your ground is too fertile. Like if you use compost too early, and if you're amending a whole bunch of stuff with seedlings, then they can overgrow and make their tissue soft. It's actually like too much nitrogen type of idea. I mean, talking about it chemically is hard to do, but it's too much overgrowth, and you need to harden it up, and the calcium helps to do that. So my guess, if you didn't want to go and just kill the beetles, but you instead wanted to discourage the beetles from eating your plants, like just spraying the liquid calcium on them. So you can do this plus a little bit of seawater. So dilute this. Follow standard dilutions here. Like this one has it in there. Reproduction 1 to 1,000. And then also include the seawater, the minerals at 1 to 25. And you could use just this solution right here alone. And you could actually also add the structure into it. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. I didn't make it bigger today. But don't put fuel on it right now. And just structure, minerals, reproduction. So structure 1 to 1,000, reproduction 1 to 1,000, minerals 1 to 25. And you could actually even do those 1 to 750, 1 to 500, somewhere in there, like that range of the reproduction and the minerals. And all this will help to strengthen that up. And then the beetle won't be able to eat your leaves and mess up your crop as easily. And that's probably more in alignment with like an organic solution. And then, the other, it's still like OMRI approved, would be to go try and kill the beetle directly with like more of Young-Song's types of methodology, where you get some sulfur and soap, and you go after the beetle itself and kill that. But I don't really want to go into that right now. I'd rather go with this type of solution first and put a little bit more calcium. And it's probably, my guess is, I'm just saying, is that the soil was over amended and the plant is growing. It's like Master Cho, like the reason I would say that is Master Cho, and he would talk about this, is if you amend your soil really well for seedlings, which this is classic gardening, is people like amend their soil and then they plant their seeds. It's like taking a baby and serving them a 5-course steak dinner. It's like, it's everything it needs, right? But the baby can't eat the steak dinner. Really what it needs is just like a little bit of milk, some calcium, and then the baby then can establish itself and grow. And then later, as it starts to grow, then you're putting in compost. Then you're amending on the surface more. So in the beginning, you just want to set up the environment. Like the baby, you want to make the nice crib. You want to have the thing so that your baby has, a nice environment, but not too much food. Right. So that's, getting your soil foundation correct when you're putting in seeds, making sure the IMOs are there, feeding your soil, making sure that's all good, but not putting like compost down, because compost is too rich. It's you actually want to have it start kind of in like poorer soil and then amend it later, because at first, if it's poorer soil, it'll reach out further. It'll put out more roots. It will strengthen itself. Kids that grow up on the street, they're tough, right? I mean, if they're not too emaciated, right? I'm not saying like over emaciate your things, but like you grow up in the country, you're tough. And then versus like city kids that have everything, it's like, well, these days, I mean, pretty much, everybody has everything, at least in the developed world here of like developed, anywhere you can get Amazon, and you have a credit card, you can pretty much get whatever. Except Pooch. So start them off a little tough, less amending to start, and then amend them later as they grow, and you'll probably avoid those types of issues. I know it's almost like a dogma of certain people. So talking to the gardeners may be challenging that way, but do a side-by-side, or try the calcium, just straight up, just spray that and just pretend like you're going to do a miracle, and maybe you will. And then, yeah, that should work. Oh, let's see. Oh. Pooch wanted to come on the show a little bit. What's up, Pooch? She's a good girl. So anyway, yeah, hopefully that helps. And then, oh, Pooch, give me kisses right on the. Oh, okay. Um, Pooch loves giving kisses, but if I kiss her, oh, she's not. Yeah. Anyway, this is Pooch. Hello, hello. Yeah. So, let's see. So what I wanted to show you folks here. I know you probably can't hear me as well because I'm a little bit further away because Pooch is in the house. But let's see here. So what I wanted to get into and show you guys here is let's see. I'm gonna do this one here and bring up this here. So the other day I was able to let's see. Let's do it. Can I? Hang on one sec. Yeah, that. Okay. So I was flying the drone and I was able to film it a little bit. So here you go. This is Greta Thunberg flying over, and this is my banana field here. Let's turn that volume way down because that's just the generator, and you don't need to hear that. Although you can hear a little bit of it. So let's see. Let it go away. But anyway, this is the drone just kind of flying autonomously, and you can see you see how much wind it puts out down below. So it sprays off the back. There's two little nozzles there that spray, and all that downdraft from the drone. It's what 100 pounds, 150 pounds flying over. So to keep that much in the air, it does it. But you can see down in the bottom left, kind of its autonomous little route that it's flying, and it shows you where the tank will get empty. And then the radar is telling me about all those obstacles and things. But it's pretty good. It's set. You see how it just went down and then it went back up. Like it's set to stay at about 15 feet above ground level spraying, and it does this pretty autonomously here. It'll just fly back and forth doing this thing. So these are the bananas that I'm treating right now for bunchy top, and there's some sugar cane. These ones here, they don't have bunchy top as bad as that section coming up here on the right. And then this is my pig pen barn. Right now we're flying over the chickens. There's my little drench tank there. I gotta get up there and clean that roof. But I have it set so it turns off the sprayer when it's flying over the building. But you can just see its wind pattern. And up here on the right, these are the bananas that really need help. That patch got hit hard by the bunchy top. And again, it didn't spread everywhere. Like, if it was a rampant virus going, it would spread everywhere, right? But it doesn't. And you can see my polyculture kind of thing. Got some gunpowder trees in there. Actually, I'm gonna chainsaw down that tree this week. But you can see the spray. I don't know if you can see the spray. I can see the spray kind of spraying down. I kind of panned up and down as I was flying over. But the drone basically flies, back and forth on this autonomous route with the route spacing to do its thing, and flies over. I got to cut down that tree too. You see how the drone flies up to get above and stay 15 feet above it. It's like if I can just cut down those trees that do me no good there. Now the drone's coming back down because there's not that obstacle under it. Some pele, tea leaves, sugar cane. That other tree, I should probably cut that tree down, chip that thing too. But tea leaves, cassavas flying over. And then this looks like that tree right there coming up almost in the crosshairs right now. It got bunchy top again pretty bad. So it's kind of just random how the bunchy top goes, and the vast majority of the bananas, you look at them, they're nice. There's an ulu tree. That thing got pruned pretty heavy last time I was grazing the cows in there. And then you can see as we get out to the very end, certain... Hey, what's up, Cheryl? Thanks, Cheryl. It's good to see you. And you come in just hard with a super chat. How's that? Awesome. But yeah, all these bananas, and the bananas down at the very bottom, not doing as well because they just have grass. So they don't have that mycelial web and all the good soil. But this grass, great California grass. So I'm going to graze my my dairy cow in there while we're not milking her and get her together. But this is the difference of grass. That this grass was, I grazed it not too long ago, but I largely don't graze this pasture. Okay, I'm gonna put Pooch down. Pooch, go down. Oh, shit. Oh, wire's getting stuck on Pooch. Oh. Okay, I think everything. Hold on, yeah. Okay, Pooch didn't damage things too bad. She did kick the mouse there. So eventually, yeah, the tank it just lets me know. It flies to the empty point, and then it kind of tells me how many. Let's see, I can move that up here. How many acres were done? How much is remaining? How much I need to refill it? You know, it sprayed out 10.5 gallons in 5 minutes here. It covered so far almost 0.8 acres. And then it'll do a manual landing here, or automatic landing here. So land that sucker down. Oh, I guess maybe I was blocking some of that. My thing was blocking it. You guys couldn't see it was behind there. But drone lands, and then we come out and do the thing. So that's, you know, I've been doing that once a week. How do I let's see. Let's transition over. And then, yeah, so I've been doing that once a week, flying over the bananas, and then, you know, doing the thing here. And then this one, this is the. So I didn't realize it, but it records sound from like the remote. But this is the pasture, and so this is where I'm running my dairy cow. So I'm also been spraying the pastures here, and this one I'm flying at 7 feet per second. So you see it's going much quicker. So this one in the bananas over there, I'm doing full Master Cho 25 gallons per acre type of thing. And on this pasture here, I'm doing what I call like half Cho, which is about 12 gallons per acre. So it can fly much quicker, and the drone itself can fly much quicker. This thing can fly like 30 miles an hour. I don't know, like even faster than that. Especially when it's unloaded, it can haul butt. You got to cross there. So these ones here, where you know the pasture, it's kind of a test. I'm not exactly sure what level, but you can see where I'm grazing. So this part here was just rotated. She's rotating this way into these taller grasses. And so, but I'm flying, you know, and my goal is, you see this grass here, this tall kind of stubby stuff. This is broom grass, and it's not really the best sign of good health of a pasture. So I'm seeing, you know, if I do this for long enough, will this broom grass go away from this? And then a wild pig got in here and destroyed all this part of the pasture. It came right through the fence right here and just destroyed all this. So we snared him and then composted him into the bushes. But the drone's pretty nice. It sees the edge. It comes up by itself. It's not like I'm flying this. I mean, I'm flying it. I'm watching it, but but it knows its own height for where it's going. Does its thing. It's spraying 3 gallons a minute here. You know, you can kind of see it's creating this rotor wash, and you can't really see the liquid. At least I can't really on here, but you can see it, and just all this coming out and spraying, and you know it's going 7 feet a second forward, and it's at, trying to maintain about 15 feet above the ground is what it's doing. And it'll tell you how much it's completed, 0.6 of an acre, and so it basically takes two tanks to do this, 2 acres here, 12 gallons an acre. The drone holds about 10 gallons. I'm not sure if its exact flow rate is calibrated, but and then these piles here are where we put down fish and IMOs. We just dropped fish waste and IMOs on it, and that really helped to boost the pasture back to life. And then here, where this grass is green, is where we ended up processing a cow in the field. That was fudge. Fudge was processed right there. So you can definitely see the fertility and the the amending making a difference. And then look at this big ulu tree here. So again, it just flies until it has no liquid payload, it hovers when it's done, and then it's up to me on the controller to, I just push return to home, and then it returns to home, you know, comes back. And I just have it fly up to about 50 feet and come back over, you know, and then again, it'll tell you this readout, which, let me see, let me just go to, let me just, this one, and just, so you see this readout on the right side here. It tells you, you know, how much area it covered, you know, covered point, let me go back. Let me go back in the video just a little bit, but it'll show you, and let me pause this here because I don't want to beep, but it'll show you, you know, it in 4 minutes, it was able to do almost, you know, 0.79 acres. It sprayed 10 gallons out there on this. And I think the one before, it's cumulative. So each flight, it's going to add these numbers, but this time it did this much here, and was able to spray, you know, so remaining for this field, there's a, you know, half acre left to spray, and I need 6.5 gallons to cover that. So I know if I want to just spray that, just fill the drone basically 7 gallons and then set it to go out again, because in this field that it's doing is 1.52 acres, and I leave 0.2 acres on the edge, because if I'm getting the RTK system, but if it flies right to the edge, it will interfere with trees and such and so forth. But these, you know, it's really nice. It gives you this readout. You know, you can see how much battery everything's left. And then, you know, it comes in, automatic return to home. It puts the camera down, comes down. There's the generator running, charging the batteries. And it comes in and it'll just auto land for me and do that. And it'll be even more precise once we get the RTK together. But the radar picking up all those things, and I just have it land in the same spot. We basically we fill up you know, a 55-gallon drum, mix all the proper knf solutions using, my Pooch is dancing, using the you know, the knf solution app here, right? Because each time I'm doing this, I'm coming up with different solutions, and so it's like, how much do I, so I just 55 gallons, calculate, it gives me the exact milliliters and stuff to drop in there on the app. So knf solutions app on the Android and iOS stores. It's back on the Android store, by the way. I don't know if it, yeah, it's back there. And then you can plug in those formulas, dilute the things properly, and that way then I'm getting, you know, the recommended dosage out there. It's all proper, correct. And, you know, trying to automate as much of this as possible. I was thinking maybe I could get the drone to land and then just have the what you call the refilling arm to just fill and then go back up. That'd be even cooler. Yeah, the app is awesome. It is. And it's funny because yeah, I think it works for newer Androids. I fixed it up. In fact, I probably gotta go click some boxes and do some things. I don't know, but it was live on the store the other day. I'm certain of that. And it does work on newer Androids. I had to update some things and do some stuff, you know. But yeah, if it's not, let me know, and I will. I'll double check that. I have, you know, may as well. It's so useful. I mean, the thing is, like, I put it up and I sell it to people, but in truth, it's like I built it for me and I use it all the time, and it's more correct. There's other knf calculators out there, but they're not as accurate to what Master Cho says. This is exact Master Cho's recommendations, and there are other calculators out there on the internet that are just not what Master Cho says. It's some other people making up things the way they are making up things, and so it follows, you know, these And even well, I mean, the truth be told, and this is something that Goofman caught the other day, is that even Master Cho's formulas aren't necessarily 100% from source to source. Depends where you're sourcing them, and but the key is to get them, as close to correct. So I try to be as accurate as possible, and that's So so let's see. So yeah, wanted to share the drone update with you. I have not flown my small drone around because I crashed into a tree last week, and you know, so it goes. Um, but we'll be getting that up. We'll be getting precision GPS coming over here, and then once I got the precision GPS base station here, now I'm thinking about all these other, like I was thinking about automating a mower and automating just all kinds of stuff. Like, once you have precision GPS, it's like, what else can I automate? You get little things to I don't know. Anyway, I love nerding out that way, doing those things. Um but yeah, any other questions on other things? I don't um I was gonna share a little bit by going back to the archives. But if anybody has anything they want to dive into, we can definitely do that. But otherwise, I was going to go check out, wait for this hard drive to spin up. Yeah, I was going to go back to like this here. So Printer Bear is asking for a mixed garden. Should I be prioritizing some harvest for making knfFood for next year? Most of the food I've been using are abundant weeds. I would say for sure to do a comfrey. So let me just go this way. Let me just do this here and pull up Comfrey. Assume it matters where you are. But let me see images here. This plant here, this comfrey plant, it is one of the highest yielding, like, I don't know why all the pictures are of flowers. It's not really the best when it's flowering, but these leaves, they call it green milk. It's like so rich, so abundant, and I would grow a few of these in your garden on purpose, like these. This is what it looks like when it grows here because it doesn't really seed that much here. But this plant, like, it is so easy to harvest and it makes so much juice and it's so abundant that I would definitely get some of this. And apparently it used to grow in Russia, or it's called Russian comfrey, some of it. So it tolerates freezing no problem. My aunt grows it in California. Yeah, New England can do comfrey. I would definitely get some of this and plant it. And then you can always, it's really easy to propagate. You just take a chunk of the root, and once you get it going, you just, you can make multiple of these. And I would highly recommend growing this plant. It's just amazing. Yeah, in all ways. And then the other is, one of Master Cho's favorites, this mugwort here, and I would grow some of this because it also is like a weed. It grows so easy. It's amazing, and I would definitely put some of this in. I mean, however, do be careful because it is like a weed, and this thing will spread. So do be, and even some people consider comfrey a nuisance, but this mugwort here, it makes amazing plant juice. It doesn't yield that much, amazingly. Like you gotta, have make like Comfrey yields way more if you're making a juice. It yields way more, but the Mugwort, here's somebody like jarring it. I wonder if they're doing Korean natural farming. No, but anyway, if you and also Mugwort, if you put it in your pillowcase and go to sleep, you will have amazing dreams. It just unlocks that whole thing. I don't know. It's pretty magic. And so Mugwort is another thing that'll grow in your area. And Master Cho also recommends Dropwort, which is like dryland watercress. This is actually it here. It's sort of like a celery type of thing. But the Korean cooking ingredient, water dropwort, this is the one you want. These other ones I'm not exactly sure what they are, but this one right here, water dropwort, it's and it also makes an amazing juice. And Master Cho always recommends that. And then so grow in these will grow like in a garden type scenario. You know, dropwort, just a small patch of that, mugwort, small patch of that, comfrey, a few plants, and you'll have tons of juice from them. It depends on, how much area and whatever, calculate that out of how many gallons you want for a season, and then kind of work backwards for how much you plant. And just to let you know, mugwort does not yield that much, but it says Scottish Wildlife Blog. So apparently this is growing in Scotland. Or the Isle of Arran, whatever. So this is the same dropwort growing. These things, I'm not sure. This is not the dropwort I'm looking for. That's not how it looks of the one I'm trying to grow. It looks more like Angelica. And if you got a big kudzu, if you want your half your area to be taken over, plant some kudzu vine, right? People hate this thing, but it's actually a really good thing to ferment. But look at this. It's just taking over all these forests. So be careful where you plant it. Like, look at this. It's just eating someone's building. But this is another one that would do quite well. I mean, not that you want to I was talking the other day about invasives and how I actually am like a strong fan of invasives, but this looks pretty invasive. I wouldn't bring this one around. And then the other one is donkey rhubarb. I don't think I spelled that right. It's knotweed. Yeah, that's what it is. Knotweed. I always remember it by donkey rhubarb because but Japanese knotweed. This is another super good thing to ferment, but people will hate you for this because it's so, it's so invasive. It'll like break up concrete and stuff. But this one, you get the shoots of it. It grows so well. You just continually prune it back. It looks almost like false ava, but you just continually prune this thing back like this, sort of. You just cut it, and just use these shoots. I mean, I guess, I probably shouldn't say all these like invasive type things to grow, but Comfrey is probably the safest out of all those. It's the least invasive. But this one again, man, talk about a champion. Grows in all environments. You can't stop it. And a plant you can't stop from growing, just keep it small like this. Just a row of this and a planter where it's like, and you just keep it and just continually prune it, make juice from it all year long. It'll just hammer. So yeah, I do recommend growing a few things for yourself, and Solar Gourmet got it full of comfrey at 52 North. That's it's frigid, man. Yeah. So Jim is asking, do I know of carb sources to use with wood chips and IMO3, preferably local inputs? I'm interested in trying different carbs to see what happens. Any thoughts on this? If you're saying aloha, maybe you're in Hawaii, and one of the best things to do is get like MacNut Crush if you're talking about making IMOs. MacNut waste. In fact, the MacNut waste itself is like pretty much perfect. You can take the husks and the MacNut Crush, blend that, and you will get a super good IMO. But local carbs, again, around here, tons of ulu. May as well, let me just put in its regular name of breadfruit. So carbs around here, let's just go images because pictures are louder than words. Breadfruits grow really well. You can take them early, steam them up a little bit, get them nice and steamed like this. Maybe you don't need to add the seasoning to it, but get them steamed like this. Oh, you're in Pennsylvania. Man, you're faking me out with the aloha. But either that or just cook them like this and eat it. And then Pennsylvania, carbs. I don't know, man. What do they have up there? Probably wheat. What chocolate? Chocolate husks. I don't know. Pennsylvania. I'm actually not too familiar with Pennsylvania. Never been to Pennsylvania. It's one of the. Been to a lot of places. What's up, Pooch? But not acorn. Yeah, acorns. Acorns. That's a great source. Pooch. Wait. Later. 5 minutes. Hickory. Yeah. See, these other guys. They know what's up. Me. I'm over here. So I think breadfruit. What else do I think of? Sweet potato. If I was going to look for carbs like these, sweet potatoes, probably you'll get them up there. These orange ones. I don't know, where do sweet potatoes grow? They definitely grow here. But look at this, look at all those carbs. Put a little bit wood chips with this. That's going to make a really good IMO. Fungal heaven right there. Oh, this one. Oh yeah, the butter. Definitely good. Black walnut is plentiful, but worried about jugalone. Yeah, acorns. Acorns. You're gonna battle the squirrels for the acorns. um, do you think you can catch lion mane spores the way I collect IMO2 using rice and the box? Maybe. Just taking like a lion's mane and putting it upside down on rice and then trying to have it grow out. Maybe. I'm not too familiar with trying to grow specific strains of mushrooms. I know you could take probably though. When I was reading some mycology books, they were talking about storing the spores in grains and like grain storage of spores. And so it would lead me to believe that it would go into the grain. The only thing that I could see being of issue there is that you might get other contamination. So if you're able to like put it directly on like a lion's mane mushroom directly on rice in a box, where it's still got airflow but not direct contact to air, it might work. But that's something like that. Like I don't know, most of the time people do sporing like on tin foil, and you can look that up of how they do it, and then they'll take that and mix it into like a serum and then inoculate that onto a sterilized medium for growing specific mushrooms. I'm not an expert at that kind of stuff. Although I probably should, I would imagine teaming with fungi. There was some book I was reading about. Actually, the book I was reading, I think it was called Radical Mycology. That was in. So I would check out that book. That the radical mycology whole thing. They have a whole movement of folks that are into radical mycology and that type of stuff. So I would check out that. And then here asking how would I prepare the sweet potatoes for IMO3? I would get a big steamer and steam them, just like this, and then, like, so let's see, big steamer. Let's see what the images have. Yeah, something like this, where you could get some, big steamer, put a bunch of, of sweet potatoes in there and water at the bottom and just steam like, 25, 50 pounds at a time, and then try to, something like this with, but bigger and, something you could throw over a fire and just steam them up, or, an instant pot type of thing. But, big steamer. Oh, here's a quad stack, something like this. This thing looks like electric, so you could run it off like solar panel, get it pretty inexpensive here. Um, you know, and steam a bunch of potatoes, even the acorns, those types of things, soften them up before you cook them. Oh, look at this one, 23 inches. It's as big as you could steam a kid if you wanted to. Right? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's how I would do it. But steam those things up, and then throw them in a cement mixer, and then have that kind of tumble it around with a little bit of wood chips, and then eventually blend in more wood chips, so kind of get it to tumble and kind of break apart in there, so it'll kind of turn, or you could dry it out and powder it. But I would try to go as low energy as you possibly can on everything, because energy is money, and that's that's the deal. So yeah. So anyway, just before I go, and since I was on the topic of energy, I always think it's prudent to just give small. Not that I'm into a whole bunch of this, but I mean personally, this is personally what I follow. But just so you know, oil prices, they were low. This is like you're looking at 1 year, and oil was expensive beginning of last year. Around this time last year, it was real expensive. It was up here, and we're going through another thing. And this is when inflation was really high. And so just a word to the wise of, get your gardens going and be ready for, I think, inflation coming back and more as oil prices spike around the world. Oil energy is the bottom line of everything. And I reckon this is, over here is when the Strategic Petroleum Reserve was being emptied, and now they have to refill it and it's empty. So be ready for more inflation, more things. So teach yourself natural farming, learn how to minimize the amount of energy you're using, because oil is the energy the world uses, and it is getting more expensive. So just and it's going fast. It's rising pretty fast right now. Not to say it won't go back down, like it rose up here and it went back down again. You can never, I never know, but I just always see, when I see a spike like this, I know that it will have repercussions into our larger economy and global economy, because the whole globe runs on oil. And so, do your best to get off oil and get systems that work. I mean, but the bottom line is everything's oil. It's all based on energy, everything we do, no matter how far you try to avoid it. But just, little bonus at the end, some overtime for you. Of just, if you weren't aware of that, maybe you should be. And oil is on the rise, bro. So hope that helps you. Hope that helps me, coming together like a lake. Thank you for being here. Thank me for being here. Thank the Pure Fit KNF Foundation. All thanks to Master Cho, who knows where I'd be without him. Thanks to Flat Eric. Thanks to Pooch. Thanks to the whole Pure KNF Foundation board and all its members helping make things like this happen. I will see you next week. Another office hours. So have a great week. More drone spraying between now and then, and getting more microbes out there. Long live the natural farmer and all that. And yeah, love you. Aloha. Let's see, which one should we do? I'm gonna close the curtain today. Okay, bye.